views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, everyone. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Welcome to Open BXRX. We've got it going on for you. In fact, coming up on today's show, we'll learn about how an Army veteran is positively impacting his community. Then we'll speak to one of the most influential women in the Bronx to hear about the latest upcoming events. Then after that, we'll hear from a clinical therapist about her latest book and how it is impacting so many people. And then Bobby C, he's here with the latest in the world of sports. And then finally, we'll speak to a notable music producer to highlight an upcoming jazz competition. So stay tuned. All of this and more is headed your way because we are now wide open. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Here we go. It's another day, another way. I'm the Doc Bob Lee, and we've got another fantastic show. You're watching Open, our live interactive program that brings the Bronx, New York City straight to your TV set. You can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Now, leading things off, our first guest is a Bronx native, an Army vet. Thank you for your service, and an entrepreneur. He does some fantastic things with what he does. He joins us to speak about his passion for community work and to highlight his business, These Dawgs. Check out These Dawgs. Welcome to the show, Dennis Cruz. Hey, Dennis.
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
All right, These Dawgs. Hey, thank you for your service. I know you're Army vet.
Yes, sir. 8 years.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. So you're an Army vet turned entrepreneur. So you got out of the service. Give us a little synopsis or a little history about what you've done.
Well, I got out of the service. I worked for the transit police for 2 years. I was a graffiti squad. And back in them days, they used to paint the trains. So we used to go after the kids, making arrests and get them off the trains. And after that, I continued to work as a graphic artist. Then I went into Con Edison. I worked for Con Edison for a while. And then I did car sales for 15 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold that thought right there. Wait a minute. You were arresting graffiti artists and then you got into graphic art yourself.
Correct. But it was legal graphic art. I wasn't painting trains. I was designing. I did a lot of work for Working Mothers Magazine. I did a lot of work for Playboy Magazine. And several other freelancers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought that inspired you, watching people do graffiti and you just want to turn it legal. So you got into
that was back in the 70s. That's when they were tagging all the trains. Yes.
Man, that's a serious culture that continues today. It's part of the hip hop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
A lot of them became professionals.
Yeah. So you went into the service.
Yes, sir. Did 8 years in the military.
Then you came out and said, "Wait a minute. Let me see. Let me start working."
I still got to chase somebody. I still got to chase somebody down. So I went into the transit. They had a program for veterans at that time, the transit police.
Yeah.
They hired us to do the graffiti squad. Yes, which still exists today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you make the transition from running after people and doing all those things, and then running after people to have them check out something that you are doing today?
Well, it wasn't easy. We a lot of young kids, 9, 10, 12 years old, hopping over the fences, coming into the train tracks. It was very dangerous for them.
Yeah.
And then as I went along, I found, because I was psychologically unable to continue the job because of the war, So what I did was I transitioned into a graphic artist. Then I did lighter work. So, I kept myself occupied and not mentally disturbed,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So talk about these dogs.
These Dogs, it was established back in maybe 7 years ago. I was on Garden Street. Then the owner of the County Beer and Soda here in Webster Avenue in New Rochelle, he called me up to, he had a spot for me. So when I purchased a food truck, and we've been here for 2 years now, serving the community. We serve a lot of the homeless that come by here. I feed them because I see that they're hungry. And on Veterans Day, we feed all the veterans for free with proper ID.
Woo! All right. Hey, Dennis, what piqued your interest to get involved in this type of business?
Well, my wife worked as a waitress for 34 years, and she actually wanted a laundromat, but we couldn't get one, so we got a food truck.
Yeah.
We were sitting at home, and she said, "Well, let's go do this." Once my friend called me, I came up here, purchased the truck, and we've been here ever since. It's a beautiful truck, and we got the famous taco dog.
Uh-oh. Hey, why pass one around to everybody right now so we can taste it? Our producers are online right now. Why don't we just pass one around?
Oh, yeah, sure. Come on, get it, guys. You got it. That's the infamous taco dog that my wife created.
So where are you located? Yep.
We're at 28 Webster Avenue, New Rochelle, New York. It's a hop, skip, and a jump from the Bronx. It's exit 15 on 95 North.
Yeah. That's the Upper Bronx.
No, this will be New Rochelle, New York.
Yeah.
I live in Prospect.
Yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, I guess we can get the crew together. We'll get in one of these vehicles and we'll drive out there and taste your hot dogs.
Dogs. You got it. You got it.
I'll try.
Let me know when you're coming. We'll set you up. No problem.
Yeah. Now, how special? What? How different are you from all the other hot dog stands out there?
Well, the way we cook our hot dogs, we don't put them in water. We steam them. I'm not going to tell you how because I don't want my secret given away.
Oh.
And we don't mix them with the sausages. So the sausages are cooked separately and the hot dogs are cooked separately.
Oh, wait a minute. There's some hot sausages involved too?
Oh, yeah. Spicy hot sausages. You got it.
Uh-oh. Our producers are
we serve only 100%. We serve only 100% bread.
Yeah. Does that mean 100% beef?
100% beef, yes, sir.
Yeah. All right.
No impurities.
Is that the only location you have? Or are you thinking about expanding?
No, I don't want to expand because the distributor is right here where I'm at, so I'm stationary.
Yeah.
So the distributor's right here. So everything we get fresh. Our bread, our onions, sauerkraut, everything we get here, we get it fresh.
Hey, Dennis, which one do you like best?
Well, I don't like tomatoes and onions, so I just have my chili dog.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say the one that your wife created.
No, I can't. I don't eat tomatoes for one. I don't like onions raw. And she makes pico de gallo.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
So what else do you have? What else is included in these dogs?
We also serve a sloppy Joe dog with the sloppy Joe meat, some chips on top. Yeah.
So you have a whole menu over there.
Homemade. Excuse me?
So you have a whole menu over there. You can just step up.
Oh yeah. We got a full. We don't make sandwiches and stuff like that because I don't want to make waste with the meat that I purchase because it's not high in demand in this area. So we only have a hot dog truck. That's it. Hot dogs and sausages.
Sounds like you can make a song out of that title.
These
dogs.
Come to these dogs.
So if you were able to make a song out of it, how would that sound?
I don't know. I'm not a rapper either, so I don't know. And now the time has come to visit these dogs in New Rochelle.
Something like that. So people are raving about these dogs all over the place. Any positive feedback?
Oh, yeah. We get 100% feedback. We have our regular customers. We have the post office. We have a couple of, and we have call ahead service that people call us and they come pick up their dogs before, 10, 15 minutes prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got quite a few regular customers.
Yeah. So everything is location, location, location.
That's what it is, sir. We're right across the street from Pro Wash Car Wash.
Give us that address one more time.
It's 28 Webster Avenue, New Rochelle, New York, 10801. And that's exit 15 off 95 North. To make a right turn, then make a left at a Conoco gas station. We're right here, Webster Avenue.
All right. How many of us would it take to sell you out?
How many events would to take to sell me out?
How many people? How many of us would it take? Yes, these dogs. These with a D. D apostrophe S. These dogs. Army vet and entrepreneur. He's doing this thing. He's doing these dogs at that location that he gave you. All right, Dennis Cruz, we appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you for your service. We'll take a break. More open coming up next.
When taking public transportation, don't touch your phone. Carry hand sanitizer and use it immediately upon leaving the bus or train. Avoid touching your face. If someone is coughing or sneezing, move away. Wash your hands with soap and water as soon as possible. Limit contact with poles. If possible, avoid rush hour. Don't eat or drink on public transportation. Keep your bag off the floor or other surfaces. Avoid directly touching turnstiles. Stay up to date with the latest from your local health department and CDC.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee for 107.5 WBLS, and you are watching Open. We're inside of a fantastic show. Hope you're enjoying yourself thus far. Our next guest is the founder of Bharati Dance Academy and the Bharati Foundation, and she's here to shine some light on her foundation's upcoming Halloween and breast cancer awareness event. So please welcome to the show, Bharati Kemraj. Bharati, welcome.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for having me again.
And you also have a wonderful food distribution thing going on where you're going to be on the 30th, I believe it is.
Yes, so Saturday, October 30th from 1 to 3 p.m. at 1216 Noble Avenue in the borough of the Bronx. We are going to be hosting our Halloween and breast cancer awareness event. And this is for our community. This is for anyone and everyone that wants to come out. It's a free event. And my backdrop is actually of volunteers from our last event. And we add food security to each one of our events. So not only are we bringing awareness for breast cancer, because there's so many people that are going through this, that are surviving, that have lost a loved one to it, but we also have where the kids want to go trick or treating. So we're going to have treats for them. And we had families who are still in need. We're still in a pandemic. We're still going through a lot. And if we could give them a hand up by providing groceries for them, we're more than happy to do so.
Yeah. So it's not going to be a trick or treat. It's going to be a trunk or treat, right?
Yes, because we're going to have some cars out here, and the kids can go from one car to the next, and they'll be able to pick up whatever treats they want. And it's a way of us just being there for the community and adding a little fun element to it for the kids and the families that want to come out and take pictures.
That's beautiful. And you've been doing this for some time now, right?
Yes, we've been doing this for a number of years, and my interest in breast cancer is because of not only family members, but friends who are going through it. And I've emceed the Brooklyn Cancer Walk for a number of years. I've participated in the Bronx Cancer Walk, including Manhattan. I've done a Bollywood dance performance in Manhattan when they've done their kickoff. So ever since the past years that I've participated in other people's event, we brought it to the borough of the Bronx in front of the Vishnu Mandir Hindu temple. And through the Dance Academy and the Bharati Foundation, we've been putting these on for way over 10 years for our community members.
Yeah. You're going to be dancing out there also, Bharati?
We're going to have a DJ, so there's going to be lots of dancing, singing going on. We have special performance. We have Ellen, who's going to be doing I Put a Spell on You, and she's participated in our events in the past. And again, we're adding these elements so our community to feel a sense of home, of family, being outdoors in the open, dressing up in their costume, or wearing pink to represent breast cancer awareness, or blue, because men also go through this. It's not something that just affects women. Yeah. And we're just happy to do it for the community.
Yeah, I was interviewing Richard Roundtree. He's the guy who did Shaft, the original Shaft. And I interviewed him just on that. We were talking about the male breast cancer.
Yes.
He male breast cancer survivor. So yes, men can.
Well, Bob, men and women have breast issues. So it's very important for everyone to be aware that they can get cancer. And it's not just breast cancer. Because of the high numbers, people are more aware in all the walks and activities around breast cancer in October. That's what they're more familiar about. But there are so many different types of cancer within this body that people have gone through. They're suffering. They're still taking treatments and suffering in a painful way because of the treatment they have to take. But we see a lot of people who, despite going through all this hardship because of the medication they have to take, and feeling down, they're still empowered themselves to go out there and let people know that they're a survivor, that they're living every single day with this. And for us to add that element to our Halloween giveaway and just a community event, it's important for us. And it speaks volumes to our volunteers and everyone who comes out, because we're letting them know that despite a pandemic, despite having to wear masks, you can dress up in your costume, you can wear pink, you can come out, you can take a bag of grocery with you, but you also could bring out your kids to do some trunk or treat. We're going to have these cars out here for them. And this is our way as good neighbors, as community members, to say, we're here for you, despite everything that is going on.
That's great. And, you're always in touch with our elected officials. Who are some of the electeds coming down?
So we're going to be teaming up with Council Member Salamanca for this one. And we also have the Bronx Community Partnership Council, who will be giving a lot of the donations in terms of candy and other items that will be given away. And we have many of our volunteers who each are affiliated with a different organization. So without our community partners, we couldn't make this happen. But as the host organization, the Bharati Foundation, the Vishnu Mandir, we're doing all we can to bring everybody together to help out and be in one space for our community and youth.
I love it. And with all the food insecurities in our city and around the world, I'm glad that you have people like the people who are behind you lined up, volunteering, helping others get what they need out of life.
And we have to give a shout out to ASPCA, because we're going to have dog and cat food as well. Families are going through a lot, but the pets need to eat as well.
And families, they are people too.
Yes, for many families, their pets, whether it's a goldfish in a tank, a bird sitting, on the couch or in a cage, or the dogs or cat, they serve as that companion for that family member, those kids that need it. And everybody's gone through so much over almost 2 full years. I think this is our way to say, come out, the holidays are just around the corner. We're bringing awareness to the community. We're gonna have a sense of just entertainment with our DJ and singing and dancing, but we also want to let them know that there's so much going on they can still participate in.
Good. Where can we go to find out more about what you're doing? And give us
So
that date.
anyone who wants to volunteer could check me out at Bharati Kemraj, BHARATI KEMRAJ on all social media. You can send me an email, bharatikemraj@gmail.com, and let me know you want to volunteer, you want to participate, you want to sponsor, you want to dance, you want to sing, just let me know. It is Saturday, October 30th from 1 to 3 p.m. at 1216 Noble Avenue in the borough of the Bronx.
I hear them reaching out for you in the background. They're blowing their horn.
Yes, the train wants to make a stop. It probably has a delivery for us. Let us know. Listen, that's the sound of the neighborhood and we can't get away from it.
I love it. Thank you. We'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you so much, Bob, and thank you to your entire team for all they do.
Bharati Kemraj with the Bharati Foundation. They are honking. They're trying to get in touch with her right now. We'll take a break. We've got more coming up next on Open.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at bronxnet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Welcome back, everybody. I am the Dr. Vaughan, and our next guest is a clinical psychologist and an author, and she joins us today to speak about her book, Aroma is Therapy, and to highlight the importance of aromatherapy. So please welcome to the show, Delilah Wright Grayer. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you saw me smell some of these. These are pretty strong. You have to put them in a diffuser.
Exactly. Citronella, yeah, that's great for anything. When you go to the beach and picnics and outings.
Yeah, insects don't like this, so you can put a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So tell us about your wonderful experience as being a clinical psychologist.
Okay, yeah, I've been a clinical psychologist for years. I've been retired. Matter of fact, I turned 79 this year. So a lot of what I do is dealing with people around any situation, families, children, individuals, it just depends. And a part of that is also what I do is to integrate the aromatherapy. And the reason that I even had the title, Aroma is Therapy, because is a part of our life force. And we use that word very, very often. Like we'll say amen, or like glad to see someone, or something that really looks nice or awakening for us. Yeah. So that is the word that I thought. And the therapy part is always where we can lift each other up. In matter of terms of the Black community, the barbershop is a therapeutic place. So wherever we go and can be rejuvenated at church, or wherever that might be, and you know, find that we have more options and alternatives, it widens our life force.
How do you mix clinical psychology with aromatherapy?
Okay, actually, I don't really mix it too much because only the people that know me, and they are a selective part by me sharing that information. Usually I just counsel or support people, families, and individuals just with the clinical aspect, because I also have to be, you know, very careful about what is ethical and what is not.
Yes.
And so so that's usually how I serve, you know, the persons that I counsel.
What part did aromatherapy play during the pandemic?
Well, actually, it was way before the pandemic that I started this and wrote the book. But I noticed, though, during the pandemic, that some of the things that I had suggested to people or in general audience that I would serve would be the kinds of oils that calm the nervous system and releases a lot of anger and the kind of energy that would be more productive, not so depressed and feeling a lot of out of it or a lot of anxiety. So what I had kind of recommended were things like, for example, jasmine. Jasmine is very good for that. In fact, jasmine is one of the most interesting plants of the herbal family.
Yeah.
And jasmine can only be picked at night as a flower, because if the sunlight hits it, it is over. It's over. So sometimes it's called the lady of the night, especially in China, where it originated in China.
Yeah.
So yeah, that piece is a part of, you know, and any of the citrus fruits, which is tangerine, orange, lime, lemon. Any of the citrus fruits are good for depression and anxiety, any of those. So I didn't really utilize a lot of the oils in terms of people. What I would usually do is just recommended that they would go and get them themselves, because sometimes people come and I'll share, you know, the oils with them. I think the other dynamic thing too is the most powerful oils in the world are peppermint, and that's what I had asked you when you needed a refresher, are peppermint and lavender. Lavender is very powerful. The way we got the term Aroma is therapy is a perfumist, a French perfumist, Gadafasi in 1910. He was in his lab and he was beginning to work with oils, and the lab blew up and caught on fire. He ran outside and rolled in the grass. He came back into the lab and he had 2 huge tubs, and they were lavender oil. So he put his arms, because it was just his arms that was burning. He put his arms in there, and in about 2 months it was clear, there was no scars. And so from that, the origin of the power of lavender also was a part of the World War I and II. For the soldiers that got hurt in the military, that was the oil that was utilized for healing.
Yeah, and now you have a book been out for some time. Talk about that book and give us a quick synopsis about what's in the book.
Oh, okay.
You can hold it up if you want to.
Yes. This is the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a part of the lavender piece is it's good for everything. Asthma, bronchitis, heart palpitations, hypertension, you know, which is a big thing in our community. Yes. It's really good for that. And it's also excellent for massages and alleviates headaches. And that is the king of the oils. The The
And
queen.
all of that is in your book that you've written.
Yeah, the king and the queen. Yeah, the queen is the lavender. I'm sorry, I get them mixed up myself. The king is peppermint and the queen is the lavender. And because they're the most universal and they're used worldwide. And not only they are the most versatile, but they're also the ones that is used just for almost everything and anything. But see, peppermint has the opposite effect. Peppermint is for being alert, being alive. If you're going to take a long trip, if you're going into one time zone and another time zone, that's good to use. It's good for clarity, very refreshing. And sometimes it's also good for soreness and good for fever and colds.
Do you use it as a topical solution, or do you put it into an infuser like this, or do you ingest it? How do you use the peppermint?
You can do all of the above. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you use it. You use it topical, and then you could use it, inhale it. You can smell it. You could put it in your bath water, and you can have it as a massage. The diffuser. Now, let me say about the diffuser. I'm glad you said that, Dr. Lee, because peppermint is the only oil I would never recommend for a diffuser, because peppermint, you can tell when you use peppermint because you're lifted up, you're rejuvenated, you want to just move. And if you put that in your diffuser, don't be surprised if everybody gets real panicky and moves around a lot and start laughing. When I would use it in my classes, you could tell because everybody would get silly and start laughing. You can go kind of crazy with peppermint.
Yeah, where can we go for more information on everything that you're doing? Yes,
right on the book is Delilah Grayer at gmail.com. And that's DELILAHGRAYER at gmail.com.
Delilah Wright Grayer, clinical psychologist and author of Aromatherapy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bobby C up next. He has the world of sports and he uses aromatherapy too. He's up next.
Many books have been written about Yankee greats Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and that incredible 1961 championship season, but the latest goes much deeper. Here to tell us more is best-selling author Tony Castro. Good morning, Tony. How are you?
Good morning, Bobby. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on Maris and Mantle, two Yankees, baseball immortality, and the age of Camelot. Your new book is great. It tells the never-before story of the profound and compelling friendships of Maris and Mantle. And, you know, Tony, they are forever linked because of that 1961 championship season, the home run chase, of course, of Babe Ruth, 61 and 61. But to a large degree, history has overlooked their bond. Why do you believe that is?
I think it's so easy to get caught up in the stereotypes that are there of teammates behaving in a certain way or being competitive in a certain way. And these were two teammates whose personalities were not to be predicted. They were as different as they were in personalities as they were, say, in their batting stances, in their muscular makeup. And yet each of those differences was something to admire and respect about each of them. And their friendship was one that was based upon who they were off the field. For Mantle, that was seeing this guy, Roger Maris, who he didn't know very well when Maris joined the team in 1960, but who he came to see as this admirable father, this guy who was everything in terms of his personal life that Mickey wished he had been. With Maris, it was just the other way around. Maris, in 1951, when Mantle had that great start to his first spring training and then first season, Maris had been 16 years old in high school back in North Dakota. And for him, he was now paired up with his high school hero, his hero who had been his high school, he was 16 years old at the time. Mantle happened to be 19. It was only 3 years age difference, but yet it was a big gap that, it was like the guy coming in and suddenly paired up with his hero. Mantle had seen that before with when he came in 1951 was Joe DiMaggio's final season, and DiMaggio had been Mickey Mantle's childhood hero.
And I found it fascinating, too, because you had done another book on Mantle. And this book also really seems to take much more of the approach of kind of telling the story from the side of Maris. And so much of that stuff that you did for the research for that book was stuff that never made it to print, and you were able to use it in this book.
That's true. When I did the first Mantle book that I did back in 2002, the agent that I had said, give it all to me, write as much as you want. And about 3 years later, I turned in a manuscript to him so that he could auction. And this manuscript was about 2,500 to 3,000 pages long, which is extremely long. It's about 800,000 words. I can't tell you the exact length because I had a lot of inserts in there that I would throw in as I was going along, and they weren't numbered, and so it wasn't sequential. But it was too long, and we had to cut a lot of it out. We cut sections of Mantle and Casey Stengel, their relationship, which is extremely difficult to tell in just an overview biography of Mickey Mantle. The relationship with Billy Martin, need I say more about that? The relationship with Roger Maris, which is where we are here. And so, yeah, it was taking what had been done there and then adding to that, doing more on Roger Maris than I had ever anticipated doing.
Several years ago, we had the late, great sports writer Phil Pepe in studio at BronxNet. And Tony, I said to him that I believe that Roger Maris deserves a place in Cooperstown. I actually wrote a column about it all the way back in 2004. He's always remembered for 1961, but to me, he was so much more than just that one season. He won MVP in 1960 and 61. And then, of course, everyone says that Mantle kind of sparked Maris's surgence when he comes over to the Bronx. But you can make a case that Maris actually did the very same thing for Mantle after that 1959 season.
He did. 1959 had been a terrible year for Mickey. And he was down in the dumps in Dallas, even wondering whether his career had suddenly gone on a downward spiral. And he gets a call, I think it was from Whitey Ford, to tell him that they had the news that the Yankees had just traded and gotten Maris. Maris himself was a little like Mantle in the fact that they were each injury prone. Maris had had injuries in his rookie year, which cost him the Rookie of the Year title, and every year after that, not to mention his very unique grading personality that took its toll on the Cleveland Indians, his first team, and the the farm system there and trying to get Roger to play ball the Indians way. Roger was going to play ball the Roger Maris way. You know, it's a shame about the way it is selected, and maybe what we're really talking about is a hall of greatness, which he's certainly deserving of. And it was the 2 World Series titles there with the Yankees. It was one with the Cardinals later. Mike Shannon, the great broadcaster and former outfielder and teammate of his with the Cardinals, tells these wonderful stories about Roger off the field, Roger, the things that Roger conveyed to him. And some of these are in the book. Roger telling him that, for instance, in '61, Roger was not to be dismayed by any of the things going on around him, the things that have been said about him, you know, losing his hair, being angry, chain smoking, losing weight. Roger, according to Mike, was bound and determined to stick it up the you-know-whats of Yankee fans and others that he felt had dissed him in the most disrespectful of ways.
You know, and Tony, you reference obviously these, Yankee legends. You are no stranger to writing about Yankee legends. Another recent title for you is on Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. And as a noted historian, what to you stood out the most from your research of Maris and Mantle? And was there anything similar to telling the story of Gehrig and Ruth?
Well, you can obviously, it's easy to say Maris was to Mantle what Gehrig was to Ruth. But beyond that, also you have that Maris's background was very similar to Lou Gehrig's, who was of German stock and whose family didn't have any great interest in baseball. In fact, tried to dissuade him from going and taking a serious interest in baseball. Same way with Roger Maris. He had a family that the father had an interest in baseball, but at the same time, the dynamics of the Maris family was it was just typical of your immigrant family struggling to acculturate into the American society. A tough marriage, a broken marriage that finally ended the marriage of Roger's parents, and a difficult childhood at times growing up there. So you had that. Similarities between Ruth and Mantle have been made before. You had 2 guys who marched to their own drum and their own music. And with Ruth, you had a guy who was mythic in everything he did, whether it was hitting home runs or whether it was drinking or whether it was womanizing. Mantle almost was one who was following the same textbook in his own ways. And I was recently talking to someone. We were writing a one-man show for someone on Mantle, and he said he's looking at it, and he's looking at not the source material, not what we produced for him, Peter Golenbach and myself. He looks at this and he says, can you cut down some of the womanizing in here? And I said, there is no womanizing in the actual script we're writing. That's a womanizing in Peter's book about the Mickey Mantle, the novel, Seven, the novel, great book. He calls it a novel. I don't find too many things in that book that are fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, when I was preparing for this interview, I actually wondered if you named the books with the secondary stars' names first for a reason.
Well, he did break the home run record that year. And, authors are people who have like the last say in anything, which alludes to the issue that I was talking to you about earlier. And so this wasn't the title that I submitted the manuscript under. This was the title, and that's not unusual. I've had titles changed on me before. And the marketing department, the famous or infamous marketing departments at these places think they know what's best. And they, this study shows such and such. So it became Mantle, and Maris became Maris and Mantle.
Well, Tony, it's a super read. It's a great book. Congratulations, Maris.
Thank you so much.
2 Yankees, Baseball Immortality, and the Age of Camelot from Triumph Books is enlightening and very funny, of course. Pick it up today at all major book retailers. Tony, thanks so much for taking some time with me.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and you are watching Open. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling with me. Our next guest is the producer for the Sarah Vaughan International Jazz Vocal Competition and he's here to speak about the work he is doing in the world of music and entertainment, and to highlight his newest artist, Michael J. Thomas. So please welcome to the show. He's here, and I'm happy to meet him. Carl Griffin. Carl, welcome.
Mr. Lee, I am so honored to be on your show, sir. I love all those records behind you. I remember those days.
Yeah. I have those, and I have in front of me, I have a wall of CDs, and then in the computers, what you see back there is like nothing. It's all crushed down into MP3.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we're into the music business. We've been into it for some time, but you have a artist, and you tell us about what you've been working on, especially with the Sarah Vaughan competition.
Well, this is our 10th year anniversary. I'm happy to say we have launched careers for a young lady named Jasmine Horn. We have a young lady now that's doing very well named Samara Joy. So we've been very successful with the contestants moving on in their careers and actually becoming name artists in the jazz world. And this year, we have 5 contestants. We're happy to say that we're international. We have a woman from coming in from France, Paris, France. Her name is Vic. So it's a truly wonderful international competition. And over the past 5 years, we've added males to the competition. We have this young man named G. Thomas Allen that's going to be competing this year. And
Do they have to sound like Sarah Vaughan?
No, but they have to sing one song because nobody can sing like Sarah Vaughan.
Nobody can sing like Sarah Vaughan.
Sassy had her own style, but they do have to sing one song that's related to Sarah Vaughan.
I know someone in Harlem that sings exactly like Sarah Vaughan. Matter of fact, she was singing a lot of her songs up there, right up to the stage, the Harlem State Office Building.
Well, tell her to enter next year.
Yeah.
There's no age restriction.
Yeah. So what are the requirements again?
Well, you have to submit 3 songs. One can be an original song, and then we have a series of judges and adjudicators that go through the process. This year we had 172 people enter, and we adjudicate that down to 25.
Yeah.
And then we adjudicate that down to 15. And then we come up with a final 5 out of that 15.
And we come up with the what?
We come up with the final 5 out of that 15.
Got it. And then what happens with the final 5? The competition more intense.
Well, then what happens then on the 12th of November, we will have a piano rehearsal with the conductor of the show, Sergio Salvatore, where we just go over the charts, make sure the charts are correct. And then on Saturday, we have a full trio rehearsal with M. Gregory Jones on bass and the famous Buddy Williams on drums.
Oh, wow.
And we go through the whole show. We run down the whole show. We also videotape the contestants. So before they come on stage, a short video of them speaking about Sarah Vaughan and how happy they are to be a part of this competition.
Yeah. And that's November.
The actual competition is November 14th.
Ah, okay. So is it too late?
This year we have special guest Christian McBride will be the host, and Miss Diane Reeves will perform 2 songs in the show.
All right. And where's this being held again?
At New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark, New Jersey.
All righty. Wow. And that's been going on for 10 years?
10 years. This is our 10th year anniversary. We're very proud to put this together.
I missed it. I gotta attend one of those.
Yes, please. This was created by the late great Larry Rosen, who is the R in GRP. along with the people from New Jersey Performing Arts Center and myself. We
Carl,
felt,
go ahead.
No, we felt that there was a need for a vocal jazz competition to help young jazz singers and jazz singers of all ages get an opportunity to perform.
Yeah. Carl, do you perform? You play an instrument or sing?
No, God bless, I as Maurice White, the famous Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire says, I have big ears.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to music as a kid. My mother would play music all the time. So I have a unique knack to know what works in our demographic. I can't tell you what works in the younger demographic anymore because I'm not young. But I know what works in the older jazz and contemporary jazz world.
Yeah. So what makes the Sarah Vaughan International Jazz Vocal Competition so special? I mean, because you have the ear and you're going to bring everything down to 5 people who are competing, right?
Yes, sir. And then what we do is we have a celebrity group of judges from all facets of the music business, and they have the final decision. They have the final say on who is the winner of the Sarah Vaughan competition. There's first, second, and third prizes.
What do they get?
First prize is 5, second prize is 3,000, and first prize is 1,000. Third prize is 1,000.
Anybody there to sign them up?
Well, when there was a record business and record companies, we had a deal with Concord Records. So that's where the first 3 contestants were signed to, which was great.
Yeah. I heard that you have, from a little birdie, that you have a podcast.
Yes. In fact, I have a podcast in exactly
during the podcast.
Yeah, I have a podcast in exactly 55 minutes. I do a show on KNLV out in Las Vegas. And we talk about the old days of the music business and some of the old music that I was involved with.
Yeah. What do you see as the difference between what took place back then, as far as the music that's coming out, as far as the way the records were handled, as compared to now?
Well, the biggest problem for me is we don't have the proper music in schools. Bringing young musicians together in schools and teaching them how to play instruments, not just hit a synthesizer and one key, and that's not playing music. One of the artists that I'm going to talk about today in my podcast is Angela Bofield, and Angie is great, and she was discovered by Dave Valentine, who was signed to GRP, and Dave Valentine went to music and art in Manhattan, high school music and art. Out of that class came Dave Valentine, Marcus Miller, Michael Peters, the great choreographer Michael Peters, who for your audience that doesn't know, choreographed the great Thriller video for Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And then there are a number of other artists that came out of music and art. Debbie Allen, the great choreographer Debbie Allen. So, these kids are missing that opportunity to learn from that era of music, and how do you compose yourself? How do you write? How do you arrange? How do you perform? All that's missing now. From a record company standpoint, you don't have the record executives that have the knowledge and have the history of how to develop an artist. Back in our time, we would say, okay, we believe in this artist, and we're going to have 2 or 3 releases with this artist to help them grow. Now, if you don't sell, a certain amount of units in a certain amount of time, that's the end. Next. So I think that's one of the problems.
Yeah, and you spoke about the Michael Jackson's album, the Thriller album, one of the highest selling albums of all times, to this day, making more than anybody dead or alive, I hear.
Yes. Because you know yourself, when you go home, there's these classic records: the Miles Davis, John Coltrane, the Michael Jackson, the Stevie Wonders, the Marvin Gayes. They're all behind you, right?
Some of them on that section way down there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can still put them on today, and sonically, they sound great. And that's proof positive on what went down back in our time as far as making music.
Yeah. Yeah, you would have to go all the way down that other end down there.
Ah. You know, it's funny. I was a DJ in clubs back in the late 60s and 70s. So I used to have to haul my records around with me on every gig. So I remember those days.
That kept you in shape, though, lifting all your. So tell us before we leave. Tell us about this this artist, the saxophonist, Michael J. Thomas.
Michael J. Thomas is a young saxophonist that I'm working with down here in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
And we're working on a new release. We're actually going to go in the studio and final mix it on Dolby Atmos, which is a new technique of mixing now. It's better than surround sound.
Yeah.
And on this project, we have the wonderful Mesa from Incognito. We have Randy Brecker from the Brecker Brothers.
The Brecker Brothers, yeah. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. And Kelly Minucci, who was a part of the group called Special Effects. And the CD is called Outside the Box, which meant that I really went outside the box, and I got the 23 Grammy winner Vince Gill to play guitar on this. So I'm mixing the format. I'm trying not to just do a contemporary jazz record. I'm trying to make music like we used to make music.
There you go.
Not put a label on it.
There you go. Do you have a website where we can go and find out more?
Yes. Go to michaeljthomas.net.
Michael J.
You can see videos of Michael and all the things we're doing right now.
Okay, michaeljthomas.net.
Correct.
Carl, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. I love your show. I wish you all the best. And I got to come out and hang with you and listen to some of your music, man.
There you go. All right. You can sample some of it or you can.
All right, man. God bless, man.
God bless you too. All right. All right. That about does it for our show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in and checking it all out. Remember this, what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. And remember, whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you are right. For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day, and I'll see you over 107.5 WPLS. I love you all. Peace.